We come into this world, every breath of ours is a currency, is a jewel. How are you trading that? Every breath you're wasting away. Just like ਆਪਾਂ ਕਈ investment ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, we have investments going, we put it in stocks or businesses or other things like that. Where are you investing every breath? This is priceless. You lose money, stock goes down, maybe you can recover it, but you can't recover your breath again. So where are you investing every one of these jewels? Invest it in every morsel of food, every breath in God's name. We don't know the breath that's coming in our body, if it's ever you're going to leave our body. We think the next 10 hours are guaranteed. We don't even know if the next second is guaranteed, because death is always on top of your head. Death will remain on top of your head. If you can live with the remembrance of death, this is how you connect your surti to the Creator that is beyond death, that is beyond time. Sometimes we don't want to talk about death, but keep this in mind, something that is inevitable, that is your future as well. And you might say, oh no, don't talk about scary things. But pyareo, jinnah ne naam japya, they prepare for these days as a wedding. Tum dariyao dana bina, main machli kaise ant laha, jeh jeh dekha, तह तह तू है, तुझ ते निकसी फूट मरा, मूक उचरै शास्त्र खट, पिंग गिरन चढ़ जाए, अंध लखै बद रौ सुनै, जो काल कृपा कराए, कहाँ बुद्ध प्रभ तुच्छ हमारी, बरन सकै महिमा जो तिहारी, हम न सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी, आप ले हो तुम कथा सुधारी, सतनाम श्री वाहे गुरु। अंतै सतगुर बोलिया, मैं पिछै कीर्तन करियो निर्वाण जियो, केसो गोपाल पंडित सद्यो, हर हर कथा पढ़ै पुराण जियो, हर कथा पढ़िए हर नाम सुनिए, वे बाण हर रंग गुर पावई, पिंड पतल क्रिया दीवा, फुल हर सर पावई, हर पाया सतगुर बोलिया, हर मिलिया पुरख सुजान जियो, रामदास सोडी तिलक दिया, गुर शब्द सच निशान जियो, हर पाया सतगुर बोलिया, हर मिलिया पुरख सुजान जियो, रामदास सोडी तिलक दिया, गुर शब्द सच निशान जियो, ਰਾਜਾਨ ਰਾਜ ਭਾਨਾਨ ਭਾਨ, ਦੇਵਾਨ ਦੇਵ ਉਪਮਾ ਮਹਾਨ, ਚਵਰ ਛਤਰ ਤਖਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਲਕ, ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਦੇ ਸਰਗੁਣ ਸਰੂਪ, ਜੋਤੀ ਅਨੂਪ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਰੂਪ, ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਨਿੱਘੀ ਗੋਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੁੜ ਬੈਠੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਸਰਵਣ ਕੀਤੀ। ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ। where we speak in Punjabi normally, we will try to speak a little bit in English today as well, for those that do not understand Punjabi, so they can follow along much easier as well. It is the call for today. Even though we do want to connect with Gurmukhi and Gurbani, sometimes it is necessary to be able to hook that little bit of love with Guru Sahib first, so it inspires us to connect a little bit even more deeper. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਇਸ UK ਦੀ ਫੇਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁਕਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਸੱਦ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੀਏ। ਉੱਥੇ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਉਹੀ ਪਦਿਆਂ ਉਹੀ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੱਖ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਟੁਡੇ we'll be continuing the 5th pada of ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਸੱਦ and completing it this evening at Park Avenue ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ। ਸੋ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਆਓ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਆਰੰਭ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਲਾਓ ਧਿਆਨ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ, ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਖਸ਼ੇ ਹੋਏ ਭੰਡਾਰਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਉਣੀ ਆ। ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਗੱਜ ਵੱਜ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। In this world, we all strive for anand or bliss in some way, shape or form. And through Guru Sahib Sache Paatshah Ji's Maryadama, or the codes of conduct that we are taught, various steps we follow throughout our life. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਇੱਕ ਅੰਤਮ ਸੰਸਕਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਜਨਮ ਸੰਸਕਾਰ, this birth that we take into this world and death, that is inevitable. Those are things that are outside of our control. But within that, there are various other phases of life that we go through. We go through Vidya Sanskar, we go through Amrit Sanskar, and we go through the Anand Sanskar. These are various different phases that we go through in life. These are called the 5 ceremonies of the 6. But ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਦਾ ਜਨਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦਾ ਵੇਲਾ ਮਨਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ। ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚਾ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਗ੍ਰੈਜੂਏਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੁਖਮਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਪਾਠ, ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ, ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਵੇਲੇ ਮਨਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਭੋਗ ਵੇਲੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਡੇਲੀ ਐਵਰੀ ਵੀਕ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਦੀਵਾਨ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਇਜ਼ ਰੈਡ। ਐਵਰੀ ਮੋਰਨਿੰਗ ਇਨ ਯੂਰ ਨਿਤਨੇਮ ਐਂਡ ਐਵਰੀ ਈਵਨਿੰਗ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਇਜ਼ ਰੈਡ। Then comes time for your marriage, then Anand Sahib is read again at the end of the Anand Karaj. Then pyareo, keep this in mind, after the funeral, the Sangat gathers back at the Gurdwara Sahib. After they read Alarniya, after they read Ramkali Sad, ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਪਾਠ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। That all throughout these times of this life, ਭਾਵ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਦੁੱਖ ਦਾ ਵੇਲਾ, ਕੋਈ ਸੋਗ ਦਾ ਵੇਲਾ, ਕੋਈ ਸੁੱਖ ਦਾ ਵੇਲਾ ਆ। There is a time of bliss and the time of pleasure, and then there's the time of pain, what we consider pain from our perspective. ਇਸ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਮੈਂ ਟੂਕ ਮਾਤਰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਅਤੇ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ, ਇਹ 6 ਚਰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਟੂਵਰਡਸ ਗੋਇੰਦਵਾਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਮੋਹਰੀ ਜੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਮੋਹਨ ਜੀ, ਦ ਸੰਸ ਆਫ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ, ਪੰਚਮ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ, ਤੀਸਰੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਬੇਟਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪੋਥੀਆਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਲੈਣ ਗਏ, ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਦੇਹਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੇ, ਦੇ saw the houses of ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ and their father ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ, ਬੀਬੀ ਭਾਨੀ ਜੀ, they had the desire to hear about what was that time like when Guru Amar Das Ji physically left this world. ਉਹ ਸਮਾਂ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਸਰੀਰਕ ਯਾਤਰਾ, this physical world that we live in, when they left their physical body, ਉਹ ਸਮਾਂ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਾਬਾ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਪੜ ਪੋਤਰੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ, they are the great grandson of Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, Baba Mohri ji, Baba Mohan ji, and then the grandson is Baba Anand ji, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਰੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਨੀਤਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਹੱਥ ਫੇਰਿਆ, ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਹੱਥ ਫੇਰਿਆ, ਇਹ ਸਰਵਣੋ ਮੇਰਿਓ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਠਾਏ, ਉਸ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਉਚਾਰਨ ਕੀਤੀ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਆਦਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਆਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ immediately after Anand Sahib there is Ramkali Sad di Bani. This is also recited by the great grandson of Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, the great grandson. And this saropa is given. That's why at the end of this bani it'll say Keh sundar suno sant ho sab jagad peri paye jiyo. Normally you hear in Gurbani that says Keh Nanak. Even though various different Guru Sahib Sache Pacha, Guru Ramdas Ji has written bani, but it will say Keh Nanak at the end, because it's the same light that continues lighting on that form. And the way to think about this as well, sometimes we think that if Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, they gave the tilak to Guru Ramdas ji, Ramdas sodi tilak diya. Gur Shabd Sach Nisan Diyo, that if the tilak was given to Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj, does that mean that Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, everyone started disrespecting them in the final moments? Or once the Guru Gaddi was given to Guru Angad Dev Ji, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji stopped being Guru Sahib Ji, even though they may have lived on for a few more days physically? Pyareo, eh sanu samjhna paina. Today in this world, we think of things, leadership, like as presidencies. We think once somebody's become a president and then somebody else has become a president, that person's not president anymore. But pyareo, eh ek jyot da vishaya. This is something that's illuminating beyond this world. मैं एक छोटी जी इतिहास ਵਿੱਚ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਦਵਾਂ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਭੱਟਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪ ਨਾਰਾਇਣ ਕਲਾਤਾਰ ਜਗ ਮਹਿ ਪਰਵਰਿਓ, they explain that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is not the physical form. They're not the 1469 Guru Nanak Dev Ji that we think of physically in this world. Even Jot Roop Har Aap Guru Nanak Kahayo, they are the form of Akal Purkh themselves that manifested within this world. And in this physical form, yes, we can give them the name Nanak. ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਨਾਮ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, and ਉਹਦੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਗੁੰਝੇ ਅਰਥ ਨੇ. There's a deep meaning behind each and every word that Maharaj has chosen. However, when we look through Itihas, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, when they traveled to the Siddhs, along the travel as they're climbing up this mountain, the Siddhs gathered around them and they tried to play a little game of hide and seek. And I'll use this example because this is a game that you may know. Hide and seek, when each child hides and one tries to find them, they count to 30 or count to 10. In the same way, but this is a different game of hide and seek that the Siddhs tried to play with Guru Nanak Dev Ji, because they tried to defeat Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They said, you know what, we will be able to change our form and hide. We will be able to do various things, and if you cannot find us, how can you prove that you created this world, that you know everything within each and every heart? How can you know if you can't even find us? One turned into a tree. They had various siddhiyan. Vaise Gurmat vich we don't follow that path. We don't follow that path at all. Because once we receive God's name, all of these siddhiyan, aridhiyan, they all follow behind us. They're nothing. They follow at our feet. To those that recite God's name. But these siddhs, that's what they were about. That's all they had captured in this lifetime and through their form of devotional worship. So someone turned into a form of a rabbit, some into a tree, some transformed into a rock, some hid their physical body in various different ways. Guru Nanak Dev Ji within seconds are like, Aitheya Gorakhnath Betha, this is the other one, there's Pangarnath, this. All of them, named them name by name, said, all right, I found you, come out. And now is time for Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj to play hide and seek. Their time to hide. But pyareo, Nanak akhaniya byan jini dasando mahapri. Truly, it's very different. Those eyes that we see with this world, we may not be able to see Paramatma. Just like there is milk in front of us, and somebody may say, can you see the butter inside of it? Somebody say, I can't see the butter, but it's there. But you have to churn that milk over and over and over again. And as we churn our tongue, again and again as Waheguru, 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 and we do this Simran, that is us churning this mind, churning this heart, churning this Simran within us. And through this milk that we see of this world, pyareo, otte Parameshwar de bhi darshan ho jange. You will begin to see that. But your mind itself, at the beginning, the butter is in the milk, but you cannot see the butter in the milk. But it's there. In the same way, those Siddhs, they were only viewing the milk and they were not able to see the butter of what was Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, this physical body that we see, Pavane meh pavan samaya, Jyoti meh jyot ral jaya, Mati mati hoi ek, Rovan har ki kavan tek, Kaun mua re kaun mua, Brahm gyani mil, Karo bichara e to chalat paya. What that means is just like this physical body that's made up of 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, space. When it is dispersed back into the air when our body dies, water goes back into the water. The dirt in our body, it goes back into the dirt after our ashes are dispersed. The air in our lungs goes back into the air. The heat of the body gets released into the atmosphere. And the jyot that's within us merges within the supreme jyot that is beyond the physical elements. In the same way, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, they are jyot roop themselves. You cannot limit Guru Nanak Dev Ji to the physical body. Even Guru Sahib Sache Paatshah ne Bani, they say, "E akhar khir jayenge, o akhar in mein naha." That one akhar that we truly connect to. Somebody might say, why do we bow down to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj physical saroop? Because doesn't this physical body die? I thought you said Aad Sat Jugaad, that the body Guru Sahib never dies. Yes, Maharaj does say, "E akhar khir jayenge." This physical pen and paper might deteriorate, for sure. The pen and paper might. But the Shabad that is connecting you to, that is beyond form. And that's why through this physical body, you connect to the physical first to connect to the non-physical. Just like you physically have to eat. You physically come into Guru Sahib's darbar and you physically bow down because your mind will not get it. You tame the mind. You teach the mind. But even within that physical element, there is power, there is Shakti, pyareo. Khair, I digress. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, they play hide and seek. They are not the physical elements. They disperse their elements back into where they came from, into the world they created. And now these Siddhs, they try to find Maharaj. They try everything. All sare jor lag gaye, they were not able to find Maharaj. Kuch nahi pata. And when they gave up, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਾਈ ਮਰਦਾਨਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਨੀ, fall at the feet of ਭਾਈ ਮਰਦਾਨਾ ji. They will do ardas, and upon a Gurmukh's ardas, that I will come back and give you darshan. I will come back and show you my physical form. Because if they said they gave up and Guru Nanak Dev Ji may have appeared, they could have said, we found you. They could have said that. So Bhai Mardana ji kolo ardas karwai. Bhai Mardana ji did ardas and Guru Nanak Dev Ji came back into their physical element in their physical form. Just to show us that this body that we see, we are beyond this as well. But pyareo, through our perception of home, we take on the pains and pleasures, the dukh and the sukh of this world. Prabh ki agya atam hitav. The person that truly is able to submit to the Creator in this way, live within that Parna. Is Shabad de vich, in this entire Bani we began from, Jagadata soye pagat vachalat hai loe jiyo, where we began that the Creator of this world loves that Pagati, is a protector and caretaker of those Pagats within this world and beyond. We spoke about how we rise above and live in this world in the Creator's will. And ode vich pehla man sabar karda hai. When something what we consider not good in our perception, we have to bear it at the beginning. Then we begin to actually have to go and accept it. This goes into the state of raza. That's first, sada man pame manne jana manne, paana koi vapar jave. We say, chalo sabar karna pavega. That's the first stage. The second stage, we have to actually accept that raza. We have to go with the flow, even though it is not fully pleasing to us. We've accepted it, and we were going with it. Odi manzuri, we accept it. Then the third stage, which is complete submission, that Maharaj, whether it's pain or pleasure, no matter what form you show me, my mind automatically is pleasing to it. That is the state what we call taslim, full submission, or parna. And this states we spoke about in detail in the previous pade. We spoke about those times, kediyan cheejan Maharaj ne kya ke nahi karniya. Mat main pichhe koi rovasi, so main mool na paya. That may nobody cry behind me. After I pass away, Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, as they're laying there, they call their entire family together. They give them these sikhyama. And now, the question comes, what do we do? In this world and beyond, what is that one thing that we can take with us? ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਸਿਕੰਦਰ ਰਾਜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਨਾਮ ਸੁਣੇ you must have heard the names of Alexander or Sikandar. When Sikandar passed away, there was something that two requests he made to all of his viziers, all of his advisors before he was to pass away. He said, when I passed away, I have two requests. One, because this is somebody that took over literally the entire world. Jinne mere paise dhan daulat hai, aur sare gaddiyan te lad ke mere naal leke jayo to the funeral home, jithe shamshan ghat ya, shamshan bhumi ya, to where the funeral pyre will be. Take all my wealth and put it on these carts with me. And the second cheez, meri dusri benti, mere kafan de baar mere hath khali kad ke baar dikhayo, so everybody sees my empty hands hanging out of the coffin. And somebody says, wait, it's hardly scary enough to see a dead body. ਇੱਕ ਮੁਰਦੇ ਦੀ ਲਾਸ਼ ਦੇਖਣੀ ਉਹੀ ਬੜੀ ਇੱਕ ਡਰਾਉਣੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਖਾਲੀ ਹੱਥ ਦੇਖਣੇ, even though you might see a king's hand all day long and you say it's a blessing, but when you see it empty, then you're scared. Why do you want to show this to the world? And Sikandar says, I want the world to see all the wealth that I conquered in this world, but I want them also to see that when I'm leaving this world, मैं भी खाली हाथी जा रहा हूं, that I'm leaving this world empty-handed as well. प्यारियो, God's name, हम हर के नाम के व्यापारी. That is what we truly are. We come into this world, every breath of ours is a currency, is a jewel. How are you trading that? Every breath you're wasting away. Just like ਆਪਾਂ ਕਈ investment ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, we have investments going, we put it in stocks or businesses or other things like that. Where are you investing every breath? This is priceless. You lose money, stock goes down, maybe you can recover it, but you can't recover your breath again. So where are you investing every one of these jewels? Invest it in every morsel of food, every breath in God's name. हर जपदियां खिन ढिल न की जई मेरी जिंदड़िए मत के जापै सौ आवे के ना आवे राम. We don't know the breath that's coming in our body, if it's ever going to leave our body. We think the next 10 hours are guaranteed. We don't even know if the next second is guaranteed. And प्यारियो, कबीर काल करंता अबह कर अब करता सोए ताल पाछै कछु ना होएगा जो सिर पर आवे काल. Because death is always on top of your head. Death will remain on top of your head. If you can live with the remembrance of death, this is how you connect your surti to the Creator that is beyond death, that is beyond time. Sometimes we don't want to talk about death, but keep this in mind, something that is inevitable, that is your future as well. And you might say, oh no, don't talk about scary things. But pyareo, जिन्हों ने नाम जपया, they prepare for these days as a wedding. What we consider sukh and dukh, that is not what it is to them. Jo nar dukh mein dukh nahi manne. Sukh sane ar pay nahi jaake kanchan mati manne. They're above this. They're above the hark and the sog of this world. And that's what I want to highlight when we speak about the Shabad. The world may cry, but what is the maryada? Is pade de vich Maharaj Sache Paatshah ji ne sanu ek khas maryada di sikhya diti hai. Because the world, they do various things. Koi vain paunda ya, where the women cry out and they pull their hair. Sometimes they hire specific maids to come into their village, and what are they doing? They're smacking their hands on the ground, pulling their hair out, because there are beliefs there, and you might not be so familiar with it, but sometimes in ceremonies, especially death, there's a lot of these theories or practices that Maharaj has actually condemned, but we're not familiar to know that Maharaj has condemned them and actually guided us instead what to do. Sometimes there are women hired to go and scream out in pain and pull the hair, because it is thought if the person that died, if we don't cry for them enough, that the person will stay in the house and haunt us. That you, oh mortal, know this, that the family that you love and that you are attached to your entire life, the moment they pass away, the moment you pass away, they're going to be quickly saying that we need to do things to make sure the ghost is out of our house. Get rid of this dead body, don't keep it in the house too long. So, know this, Jeevat sab kich, Jeevat ko bivhar, Maat pita pai sut bandap, arpun greh kinar. Even the own wife of your house will say, get this dead body because it is scary, it is haunting, out of my face. This is the reality, and vice versa. The kids will say to the parents will say to the kids. The world, this bird that came into this world, it came alone and is going to leave alone as well. So gather your own breath and invest it in Hari's Naam properly. Maharaj Sache Paatshah kende vain nahi paune. Don't do syape. Syape are where they smack the hands on the ground and they cry out in pain. Fir ek tosa marya janda siga. Sometimes they would do a tosa where men would go to the place where the person died and they would scream out in order to scare away the ghost so that it doesn't come and haunt them. Various different practices. Maharaj Sache Paatshah says that do not cry behind me, and they say do this instead. What were the last bachans of Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj while they physically left this world? Their entire family gathered around them. This family gathers, and just like ਪਿਆਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ 60 70 80 90 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗਾਂ ਪੋਤੇ ਪੋਤਰੇ ਦੋਤੇ ਦੋਤੀਆਂ, there are many, there's sometimes their family is 60, 70 members. And the entire family gathers near the deathbed of this bujurg. And Guru Amar Das Ji Pyareo was about 94, 95 years old at this time. Their last words, they say, Anta Satguru Boleya, Baba Sundar Ji says, these were the words of my great-grandfather. The last words were, Guru Amar Das Ji says, after I pass, just like now, do Kirtan. And beyond after my passing, do Kirtan as well. Pyareo Sanu Jadon Apa Gurmat Maryada Vich Sikhya Lene a, this is the Maryada as well, that if somebody you know that is about to pass away, meaning you know they're about to pass, maybe they're very old, or maybe they're diagnosed with a cancer or some sort of illness, where you know they're about to pass away, because in some situations, such as car accidents or other things, you cannot expect them to pass away. But the reality is, Maran likha hai, mandal mein aaye. We know that death is going to be on our head any moment. That is through our bhakti angle, where we are living in that remembrance, and we know to live detached in attachment, not stay attached, and then when the world forces you to detach, then you're in pain. So stay detached within yourself, anand within yourself, wherever you go in the world, and even if you're forced to detach from something, you will not break you internally. The Maryadama say this, that this person that is about to pass, go and sit beside them, read Sukhmani Sahib da Paath. Read Gurbani to them, sing Kirtan to them. Why? Because in the last moments, if they've done nothing else, at least let them remember God's name then. Je koi amritari hove, if somebody is amritari, if they've made a bajur krayat, if they've made a mistake, and they know they're sick, go and get them to go pesh. If somebody is an amritari, then now is still the moment that you can go get that amrit. Surnar munjan amrit khoj de, so amrit gurte paya. What we came into this world for, to drink that amrit. And if somebody still know, read them Gurbani. If somebody still doesn't understand that, somebody's unable to read Sukhmani Sahib da Paath, then just do Simran beside them. Just read Mool Mantra da Paath. Or even just read a pada or just one shabad of Sukhmani Sahib that you can continuously. If you know somebody has 6 months, keep reading it. If somebody has 10 minutes, 20 minutes, then read Gurbani for those last 20 minutes. Then Maryada says that when the funeral is about to take place, you take the body. If Amrita Riya, you take their karpan, their kada and their case just as they were intact, and you keep them on the body, just like the Gurmukh was doing Ishnan while they were alive, just like Sadi Maryada, that you don't remove the kashara entirely, you don't remove the karpan and kanga while alive doing Ishnan. The Ishnan Maryada after the person passes away is the exact same. The kada and the case and the karpan, while they were alive, you keep the same one on. And the kashara, the dastar and the kapde, brand new kapde should be sewn. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਇੱਕ ਰਮਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਦੀ ਵੇਲਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, 2 ਮਿੰਟ ਹੋਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੈਣੇ, I'm going to take 2 more minutes. That in this world, we prepare for these things in the same way for a wedding. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਜਦੋਂ ਜੰਜ ਬਰਾਤ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, when the wedding party gathers, the groom's party, the bride's party, what do? We dress up very well. We put on beautiful clothes. We tie brand new dastara. And you see in today's world, sometimes in which everyone says all the dastara have to match as well. You see these various different things. The flower has to match the dastar, has to match the mother-in-law's suit. You see all of these preparations. Look at the coordination. Because we've been expecting for it for months, sometimes years. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੈਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਹੁੰਨਾ, ਅੱਛਾ ਜੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਰੋਕਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, get married this year. Why in 3 years? Doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. Oh no, we have to prepare, we have to go to India, make suits and do all of these things. But you prepare for it, look how in advance. Why don't you prepare for this day, this wedding with death? Because it's beautiful within it. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਹੈ, ਪੰਥ ਨੇ ਹੱਲ ਹੈ, ਅਸਾਂ ਪੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਣਾ. We know we are going to go there anyway. So why not prepare for that beautiful day? Let's prepare our currency and save up with God's name. Let's go and make sure all of these things. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਰਵਣ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ, we hear these stories. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਨਾਮ ਅਭਿਆਸੀ, when they've sat together and they've said that ਚਲੋ ਮੇਰੇ 2 ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਣਾ, ਆਮ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਣਾ, the family ਬਾਪੂ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ, we don't know. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਿਆ, they would say to the family, when they were living with the Gurmukhs as well, they would say, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਚਲੋ ਭਾਈ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਆ ਗਏ ਆ, ਮੋਹਕਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਆ ਗਏ ਆ, ਉਹ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਚਲੋ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਚੱਲਦਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ, ਸਹੀ ਦ ਫਤਿਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, nobody knows what they're saying, ਪਰ ਪਿਆਰੋ ਸੱਚੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੀਗੇ that if you read ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਸਾਧ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ, ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਬਚਨ ਸੀ, ਸਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰੇਮਾ ਭਗਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਵੇ। ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਸੀਸ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, that is true, that ਜਮ ਕਦੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ, the Jamdoots will never be able to come close, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, either I will come and take you myself, or I will send my 5 beloveds to take you. I will send my ਪੰਜ ਪਿਆਰੇ to take you, or I will come and take you myself. ਪਿਆਰੋ ਸੱਚੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ, ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਅਖੀਰਲੇ ਬਚਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਨਾ, ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਮੌਜੂਦੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ 10-15 ਸਾਲ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਚੇਤਾ ਦਾਸ 6 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਥੋੜਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਚੇਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਸ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਚੇਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ। ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਰਿਮੈਂਬਰ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਜਦੋਂ ਚੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗੇ ਸੀਗੇ, saints are about to pass away, many gather, and in that moment, days leading up to it, the Mahampurkh have said, on this exact day, that is my wedding day. And we would all be like, what do you mean wedding day? We all said, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿਆਣੇ ਸੀ, they knew. They all gathered, sat down, and in that moment, Sukhmani Da Sahib da part was going on, and the very moment the last words are read, and the very last word of Sukhmani Sahib is Sukhmani itself. When they read Sukhmani, in that moment, Mahampurkha ne aap jikara chhaddiya, and they said, hun panj pyare lein aa gaya, said fateh to the entire Sangat, and in that moment they closed their eyes, never to open them again. Sometimes pyareo, if you leave this world in attachment, you will be crying in pain going. Some may have even said, I fear the pain. And Gurbani mentions that if somebody that is not detached while living in this world or beyond the body, then Jamdoots have to pull you from this body. And that is painful. Jamka thinga bura hai, oh nahi sahiya jaye. Pyareo, Mahampurkhan ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਨੇ ਮਰਿਆਦਾਵਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ, ਜਦੋਂ ਸਰੀਰ ਦਾ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ, you keep the kakars, you prepare for it in this way, then when you're about to take it, you bring it to Gurdwara Sahib. From the outside, depend on the situation here, I know situations are very different, you would put the head of the body towards the Gurdwara Sahib, stand there and do this ardas ke sache pacha kalle aave nanaka sadde uthi jaye. In this way, based on your hukum, this person has left this physical world. ਸਰੀਰ ਚਲਾਣਾ ਕਰ ਗਿਆ ਆ, ਆਵਣ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਦਸੈ ਕਾ, ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ ਬੁੱਝ ਸਮਾਵੇਂਗੇ. We have come into this world and we have to go. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੱਤ ਰੱਖ ਲੈਣੀ. This is the Sangat's responsibility to do ardas for one of our family members or somebody in the Sangat that has gone. We do the ardas, and as we're going towards the funeral home, then ਉੱਥੇ ਵਡਹੰਸ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਦਾ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ along the way. No crying. No smacking your heads, no throwing rice, no leaving the flowers, no spilling the water, spilling the oils. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj de bachan, antah Satgur bolya, main piche kirtan karyo, nirbaan jiyo. Do kirtan in this way, this immaculate kirtan that will liberate you. And then pyareo sadi maryada vich, you go to the funeral home, othe pyareo Anand Sahib da paath kita janda. Once Anand Sahib, Japji Sahib da paath kita janda. And then as the funeral, the cremation is taking place, ardas is done before it, Soila Sahib da part kita janda. Soila Sahib is read. Then the entire family, in that moment, again, nobody is throwing oils or flowers or rice on top of the body because that is niradhar to the kirtan. Then the family comes back, cutting this maryada short. We can speak about the full maryada vantam sanskar at a different time. The family comes back to Gurdwara Sahib, and you guys may have experienced this. Comes back to the Gurdwara Sahib, ithe pyareo, ਉੱਥੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. The ardas is done. Here we read Soila Sahib, we read Ramkali Saddi Bani. Beyond that as well, if the families are able to, then usse vele ardas karke within 10 days a Saj part is completed. It is possible, and a Khand part can be completed as well. And for the family, if possible, ਉੱਥੇ ਜੈਤ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ, ਜਿਹਦੇ 2 ਛੱਕੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਦੇ 10 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭੋਗ ਪਾਇਆ ਜਾਵੇ, ਤੇ ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਸਹਿਸਕ੍ਰਿਤੀ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਆ 6 ਛੱਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਪਦੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਕਰ ਕਰਕੇ 10 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਭੋਗ ਪੈ ਜਾਂਦਾ. So you do katha way because that is consoling. Because what we do, the families gather and we put more of a burden upon each other and we say, bahut mada ho gaya. It's a very bad, horrible thing. We make each other cry. But Guru Sahib says, Keso Gopal Pandit Saddeho. हर कथा पढ़े पुराण जियो प्यारियो इथे अर्थ हाँ there was a pandit whose name was Keso Gopal was brought together to sing the Gurbani of the Creator, to do katha to the family at that time. Another arth that we can do deeper of this as well, Keso is also the name for God. Kabir Keso Keso kuki hai na soye asa raat devskane kukane kabhu ke sune pukar. The Keso Gopal, who's the master of this world, sing the Bani of that one Creator, katha padhiye, har naam suniye, because through this katha we're connecting to the Creator's name, and we listen to God's name before, during our life, in the moments of our passing, and at the very end, we are continuing connecting to God's name. Beban har rang gur pave, because that immaculate love, there is no ego left in that. You lose your mind in this way, in that oh jada hari da rang hai, rang hasse, rang rove, chup pi kar jaye. You are blessed with this beautiful singing, but that crying is also in God's love. Not the crying of the world, it is in bliss. Not the laughter of the world, of comedy, but the laughter in God's name. In this way, you have Biban har rang gur pave, and then jede akhirle bachaniya pind patal kriya diva. Don't do these other acts that are mentioned here. What should you do? Full har sar pave, just like the ashes they're taken and put into the Sarovar of Guru Sahib Sache Pacha. They are left there in that Sarovar to go where the creation and the matter exists. Even then there is no crying. This Atma and this body of ours, we give ourselves to Guru Sahib Ji, and then at the very end, har Paya, Satgur Bolya, because Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj said these words, they are pleasing to the Creator. Har Paya, Satgur Bolya, Har Milya Purkh Sujan Jio. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj has now immersed themselves into the Creator themselves. Ram Das Sodi Tilak Diya. Guru Shabd Sach Nisan Jio. And now in this moment, Akhirle Bachan, Guru Ram Das Ji Maharaj Sache Pacha have said that the tilak has given to Guru Gaddi, just like a torch lights another torch. And the light is illuminating, but that doesn't mean the previous light is diminished. Like a lighter is lighting another light. The fire illuminates forward, and this physical body may go, but the light is always illuminating. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. Pyareo, ithe inniyan bentiyan parwan karniyan, while talking, while speaking. I made many mistakes. ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਨੇਕ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਭੁੱਲਾਂ ਚੁੱਕਾਂ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਅਣਜਾਣ ਬੱਚਾ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਭੁੱਲਾਂ ਚੁੱਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਖਿਮਾ ਆਓ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਅਖੀਰਲੀਆਂ ਦੋ ਪੰਕਤੀਆਂ ਸਵਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ ਜੀ ਹਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਬੋਲਿਆ ਹਰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਪੁਰਖ ਸੁਜਾਨ ਜੀਓ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਸੋਢੀ ਤਿਲਕ ਦਿਆ ਗੁਰ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਸੱਚ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਜੀਓ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.